Today on 5-Minute Leadership Podcast, we're going to talk about how to act like a leader. We've talked about thinking like a leader, which means to think like a servant. That's how Jesus defined leadership. But it's not just thinking. Leaders are people who do something about how they think. And it's a privilege to have my good friend, Bishop Ferdie Cabiling, and his daughter, Elle Cabiling. Ferdie oversees all of our churches in Metro Manila. Elle is a campus missionary at Ateneo University. Anytime I teach leadership, I talk about you guys. A campus conference at a big basketball arena, and you were being introduced to speak, and there was a 2-woman standing ovation you got. You were a student at UP, and it was you and a friend, I don't remember who it was, on the front row, standing up, cheering and screaming, and everybody else was giving sort of a golf clap.
clap.
The closest person to Ferdie in the whole room was you, and you gave him the most honor. And I think that says a lot about active leadership. Elle, you've grown up with 2 leaders, your mom and your dad. Give me the top lesson about leadership from your dad, and the number 1 lesson of leadership from your mom.
I think from my dad, one of the biggest lessons that I learned from him is to take charge. Whenever he would drop me off to school, he wouldn't say, take care, he would say, take charge. Okay, what does that mean? But then I saw how it affected the way that I would lead in class. The teacher would ask, who can be in charge of this, or we need a volunteer. And I realized that sometimes when I look around the class, people are just sitting down waiting for someone to lead. I'll just be the one to do it, choose me, so that we can do something already. And he taught me to take charge and to serve and lead people even when no one else wants to. From my mom, I learned how to serve people even in the background, even when no one's looking. I realized how my mom shows me how much she loves me by just serving and giving without even asking for anything in return. And so I realized that in this world where people try to do things so that people can see them doing good things, you don't need to expect anything. Your reward is in heaven. Just serve and serve people.
We talk about acting like a leader, and the first part of acting like a leader is building a team. And we look in the Bible, the greatest leaders from Moses to Daniel to Jesus to Paul always had teams. Talk about the teams you've been on.
I thrive when people around me, especially people who are leading me, when I sense that they trust me. It's like I'm in my element. Because of that atmosphere, I can inspire others in doing so. It starts with trust. As young people in the 80s, we have a hard time believing in ourselves. But if we see people like you who would come and really believe in us, it's like, you can do this, Ferdie. Then I'm able to deliver and do something about it. In turn, I get to do that to others. And when I realize that if I see the potential in them and trust them, they really thrive.
I think about what you're doing now as our leader at Ateneo, one of the more prestigious universities in the nation. You have staff, campus missionaries working with you that you lead, and they're men. What does that look like for you taking charge and leading your team?
What I did was, by the help of my leaders who were teaching me how to do it, was to figure out what were the strengths of my teammates. These are the kinds of tasks that I will assign to them. But at the same time, I also knew, okay, these are the things that they need to level up in their strength in. So, okay, these are the kind of mentors that we have to look for if you want to learn how to be better in these things. It took us maybe a year for us to really build the team, to get to know one another better. I find myself having an easier time to lead them because I know them in a personal level. And I also know their skill set as well.
It's not because you're a leader, it doesn't mean you know everything. It's just happened that you were assigned. Trust, listen. Sometimes I get so overwhelmed, I might forget. I take down notes while they're talking. The other leaders see that and they say, my leader is taking down notes from this new campus missionary who's just joined the staff. That act alone would create a sense of trust.
I just want to thank you for building that culture. When younger people step in, we don't feel intimidated and we don't feel like, I can't say anything because I'm young. No, we listen to younger leaders, we trust them, we even give them greater platforms for them to learn how to lead. And so I really appreciate that.
Bishop Ferdie and Elle, thank you for taking the time to talk about leadership. And remember, every aspect of leadership has to do with the heart and skill. Let's have a heart to serve, and let's develop the skills it takes to be better leaders for the honor of God.